Yo, if anybody can hear me, please dial one in the chat if I can be if I'm heard. Please. Sorry, such a late notice on the live stream, but I do have to do this video because I want to, and I got a couple other guys that's gonna join me on the panel today. So y'all just hold tight, stay tuned, and I'm gonna wait for a minute, let everybody come in. Let a few people come in. Winners train, losers complain, LDBC. Salute to you, my brother. Salute to you, man. Much love to you, fam. Y'all already know what the title say, jab session, baby. So you know what to do when you come in here, pump that jab like last night, how we seen Sean Porter eye getting swelled up last night. You understand what I'm saying? So work that jab, baby. Work that jab, work that jab. I'm waiting on a few of my other co-hosts to join me on the panel today. They know what time we supposed to be on here, but they're gonna blame me anyway. So it's real easy. It's real easy and convenient for everybody to blame old Trap House, right? I'm used to it though. It's been the story of my life. Everybody always want to blame old Trap House. Bruce Goes, what's good, fam? Hold on. Yo,
Yo, what's good, fam?
what's good?
Just chilling, man.
Yeah.
How's everybody in the chat?
Oh, everybody's doing good, man. Salute to you, Bruce Gold, man. So yeah, I'm waiting on Bars to come in and wait for a few more people to fall in. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get this thing pumping and rolling.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. He was the main one calling, complaining to him, man, what's up? He ain't even on. He ain't even ready yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll be ready in a sec. You know how it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So other than that though, man, how many fights did you see? Like, did you see all the fights last night, or you just seen like a couple of them?
I seen that Aleem Abdul Kaluli fight against Saddam against Hassan.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he pretty much dominated that fight.
Got you.
But he
Didn't
followed
Aleem
the
get
guy around
stopped?
the ring. Huh?
Didn't
Yes.
Aleem get? Huh?
Huh?
Didn't
Yeah,
Aleem get?
Hassan got stopped.
Yeah, Aleem wasn't that? Oh, Hassan Endon. I mean,
Yeah, he got stopped.
yeah, I thought I seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought I
Well,
seen so.
that's in preparation for something with Andrade or Charlo, even.
Oh yeah, Napoleon Armstrong. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you, Napoleon.
He's highly
Yeah,
ranked
man.
in the middleweight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got people showing love early today, man. Here go this old cone head ass nigga right here, probably. Here you go.
Nobody a cool ass
Nigga, don't you ever show up to my damn
What's
live
going on,
stream
bro?
late either. Don't you ever show up to my damn live stream late, boy?
Lil G.
Yeah. Tighten your ass up, man.
What's up, bro?
What's
What's
up,
going
man?
on with you, bro?
How y'all brothers doing?
Shit, chilling.
Bro. How about yourself?
Shit. I didn't see the text. I was driving I'm on the
Yeah. Whatever, man. Stormy B, what's good, bro? Hello, hey, salute to my man, the Sensei Stormy B, man. What you say? It's over, son. It's over.
Yeah, you sure did say that.
Oh man, hey, Sensei, you was trying not to be a piece of crap last night, man. But deep down inside, you was laughing when you talking about you didn't want to be correct about that type of stuff, man. But it ended up being that way. You knew deep down inside you was tickled that it happened that way, but you really wasn't what you was. You understand what I'm saying? But it's all good though. Yeah, man.
So
anyway,
what y'all
man.
y'all talked about anything yet?
Nah,
Say what?
nothing yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked about your ass. We waiting on you.
Nah.
That's what the
I'm
fuck we
ready,
talking
nigga.
about. We talking about your ass.
Well, I'm ready, nigga, to speak on the subject. What's the first topic?
What's the what?
What's the first topic?
Well, the first one is everybody just tell me real quick, man. Since you want to talk so much, you start first. Tell me what
About
your thought. Tell me what your thoughts on the fight was.
we not talking the undercard? Okay, we can go straight to the main event.
Well,
I
I
don't
didn't.
know.
I mean, I didn't see too many. I didn't really see the undercard like that.
Okay.
So I don't
All
want to
right.
talk about something I didn't see. Now
I
that you want
hear
to talk
that.
about what you seen,
Now we can go straight to the hot topic.
salute Kenneth Johnson. Salute.
Salute and congratulations to Terence Crawford, proving he's the elite. He deserved nothing but credit. You know what I mean? Well, we both from Omaha, Nebraska, born, but I'm raised in Philadelphia, so I rep Philly. I don't know nothing about Nebraska, but yo, salute to Crawford on that great win. Um, going into the fight, like I said before, 78 started this when he interviewed Kenny Porter on September 30th of 2019 when he had the great fight with Earl. And I loved when Kenny said the idea of him fighting Terence Crawford, his son fighting Terence Crawford. And 2 years later, the fight came into fruition, and I wanted to see a Fight of the Year candidate. And I was hoping, I believed this fight could be the potential of being the Fight of the Year candidate. But I was wrong. I was wrong. So I have to eat crow on that one. But from round one, I was hoping Sean would bring that intensity. He was being more calculated and smart, strategic, trying to be a boxer. I think people should give Sean a little bit more credit too. He's not as sloppy as a lot of people think he is. He really can box. He's just, when other people who are better than him, he doesn't look as great, But Sean he has really great footwork. You know what I mean? People talk about Lomachenko footwork. Sean got great footwork. You know what I mean? And I love his footwork. But starting into the fight, Crawford was sharp. That jab was landing in the early rounds. It was landing really beautifully. Sean was being, like I said, being calculated and smart, picking spots to engage, and then to be on the trying to outbox Crawford. It didn't work, in my opinion. I don't know. My thing is, why nobody ever bring that intensity to Crawford from Felix Diaz, Jeff Horn, and Crawford? You know what I mean? I feel like Sean didn't want to get clipped or get caught with a punch he didn't see. So I guess that's why he didn't want to do that. But I know Sean knew, like, damn, this nigga's strong as hell, because Crawford was throwing this man around like willingly, like throwing him all kinds around, like he couldn't handle the strength Crawford had. Like you could tell Crawford do be doing that wrestling thing, because his sons, they've been winning a lot of trophies in the wrestling thing. If you follow Crawford, so you could tell Crawford a really strong guy, man. And I love that Crawford can clinch, because these fighters today can't clinch, yo. I don't know. Maybe they too proud to do it, or they can't do it. These fighters today just refuse to clinch. If they get hurt, hold a motherfucker. If you don't want to engage with someone, you either use your jab. If you can use your jab, use the 1-2, use your right hand and hold, and then reset. So I don't know. Like, these fighters today can't do it. But I saw on I really thought Crawford did a great display of boxing. I wish we could have seen a great finish, but Kenny stopped it. You know what I mean? But I wanted to see a great finish. The fight to me was a disappointing because I didn't get the war or the fight of the year candidate that I would liked it. It had its moments where it was entertaining, but it wasn't as what I imagined. You know what I mean? When we spend these $70 to $80 on all these pay-per-views, I really want to get my money's worth. I want to see a war, man. I really do. I like seeing a one-sided fights at times, but nowadays I want to see a war. You know what I mean? But that's my opinion.
All right, real quick, let me salute some people in the chat who just followed in, man. Kenneth Johnson, salute to you, fam bam. L Dub in the building, man. Y'all go salute to L Dub. I mean, y'all go subscribe to L Dub, man. L Dub Boxing, and also Stormy B, man. Y'all make sure y'all go do that. Diego 69 Cali Factor, what's good with your family? D Nice in the building. Dimitri Cowan, what's good with you? Mark Wonderlist, what's good? Everybody tap that like button. Mark Wonderlist said hashtag LDBC, hashtag Bomb Squad, hashtag Team Petty. Oh man, yes indeed. So salute to everybody in the chat, man. If I missed everybody, man, anybody salute me, don't shoot me, man. You know what I mean? I didn't mean nothing by it. I tried to get everybody, but I think I got everybody. Also, before I proceed on to my man Hollenberg Mark, if anybody want to come in, L Dub, Stormy, whoever, the link is in the chat. You understand what I'm saying? So tap that link. We can open it up a little bit more. People who want to voice their opinion. And hey, the floor is free for whoever, man. So this is how we rocking in the trap house tonight on this Sunday. If y'all want to come in the trap house and parlay and get your little rocks off, hit that link and come on up in here. You know what I mean? It's open for you. So Hollenberg, Mark, go ahead and speak your piece, my brother.
Well, I seen it as a very good fight. It was more like a classic. It was a war, you know, but what I saw is that Porter was smothering a lot of his work, though. And ESP, you know, usually when I watch the fight, I cut the volume down. And then when I rewatched the fight, I watched it with the volume on. ESPN commentators were totally Porter. I mean, totally Porter, you know. But what I gave Porter was the first round. I gave him the 5th round. And I gave him a mercy round in the 8th round. Just because of the the 7th round, just because of the overhand right. But
I think that was the 8th round, overhand right. Okay. But whatever.
But pretty much, you know, I gave him 3 rounds out of all of the rounds. But he did give a good show of himself. It was just that Crawford had that boxing IQ that was neutralizing, you know, his attack, you know, and it was making him smother his work, you know, so he wasn't landing very accurate like he wanted to, you know. And as far as with Kenny stopping the fight after 2 knockdowns, you know, to see Porter go out, to see Porter go out, you know, completely knocked out, we don't know how he would have recovered. You know what I mean? I have a friend, Billy Wise, that I grew up with that fought Shane Mosley, and we was telling him, you know, to not fight him, but he had to fight him in order to, you know, get a surgery for his son. So what happened is that Billy got knocked out, and he's not the same. After that knockout, he's still not the same to this day. So people don't really know what would happen after a real brutal knockout. Would that fighter recover completely? You know, so but Kenny did. He has been with Sean all of that time. So his job is to protect his fighter. It's not just being his father, but he's the coach, and he had to protect his fighter. So that was a good stoppage. I don't see nothing wrong with that stoppage. The man just got knocked down 2 times. He was being dominated in the 9th round. and then being dominated in the 10th round. It was there a 3 knockdown rule? I think there was. So he would have. So he most likely, Crawford is a dangerous finisher. So why would we want Crawford to demolish Porter? It doesn't make any sense. What? Because he was sent as a pawn for Spence? So he should be demolished because he didn't do his job? That doesn't make no sense. He has a life. So there's no pension after you retire from boxing. So he had to protect his son. His son has to live a life after boxing. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. Anyone else? Yo.
I'm here. I'm just waiting for the guys to say something.
Oh, no doubt, no
My
doubt.
bad, man. I was trying to type something in the chat. But anyway, I'm going to say it. The link is in the description box if you want to donate to the channel for the Cash App. My channel is going under a lot of monetization things. I got to get straightened out for some reason, odd reason, I don't know. But let me salute to a few more people in here in this chat before I proceed on to the sensei. 88 Sports Talk, what it do, homeboy? I see you off in here. IGM Tim, what's good with your fam? That's right. Hold on one second. Got D Nice coming in here. Let me invite D Nice. Okay, D Nice, you in here?
Yeah, I'm in here.
All right, mute your microphone. Let the sensei spit real quick, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak your piece, brother. Go ahead, sensei. You're on mute, Stormy.
I'm sorry. First of all, salute to everybody on the panel. Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, that I don't think there's any controversy regarding Kenny stopping that fight like that. I think that Kenny was well aware of what Sean was up against from the get-go. And once he recognized that Bud put Porter down on the ground, it was going to be over after that. Because remember, other people may have staggered him like Earl Spence did, and Broner got a flash knockdown. But when Bud put people down, it's usually on their way out. And when he went down that second time, Kenny thought the best interest of Sean's health, just as the brother was saying a moment ago. It's better to stop it before he's polished off, because you don't know what type of damage he's going to sustain. And Kenny is the only one that could have made that type of call and judgment, because he has Sean's best interest at heart. It's not nothing to do with being on the take or anything like that. That's his son, and it's going to be his son first, second, and last before anything else, including being a boxer. So that's the way I looked at that. But that's also why I said what I said, months ago when the fight was announced, and I was talking about how this fight could end. That's how I saw it ended, with Kenny stepping in, because it's the kind of thing that most people wouldn't have even had that on the table, because Sean wasn't necessarily under those type of considerations. But then again, he was in the ring with the best welterweight in the world last night.
Heard that. All right. So D Nice, man, anything you gotta say about the fight last night? What you saw, your
Hey,
thoughts, your
Stormy,
opinion,
how
and
many
everything?
rounds did you give him?
Yeah, he I had Crawford up by the time of the stoppage. And it was a few years ago, man. I think me and you, Trap House, was dialoguing on this when you first had threw it out there about Crawford fighting Porter, when he seen that the Spence fight wasn't going down. And I always thought that they wanted to throw Porter out there as the roadblock for Spence.
D Nice. Not to cut you off, brother, But I'm glad you confirmed that, bro. I'm glad you one of the listeners who confirmed what I've been saying for the longest.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen it because once the Spence fight was really a possibility a few years ago, that's when Sean Porter came into the picture. Nobody had respect for Sean Porter until they thought Sean Porter was going to be capable of doing something nobody had done. So now it's like, okay, Crawford hasn't fought anybody. Let's throw him in there with Porter. Nobody looks good against Porter. Nobody stopped Porter. And when Porter fought Spence, a lot of people viewed that differently than me. My take from that fight was Errol Spence wasn't as good as people made him out to be, because Porter went in there and did what he normally did. He brought the fight to him. He made it rugged. He made it ugly. That's what I knew Porter was coming to do. I thought Spence was going to beat him in a more dominant fashion than that. So in that fight, that told me what I needed to know from then. Now, watching this fight with Crawford and Porter, I knew what I seen was what was going to happen. Porter, in my estimation, is a B-class fighter. I never considered Sean Porter elite. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can be considered elite when all of your step-up fights you lose. And the only fight that he won was against Danny Garcia, and that was a 50-50. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even consider, I would have considered that more of a step-up fight for Danny Garcia instead of Sean Porter. So everything that transpired just gave me further confirmation. But the biggest meat and potatoes of this story is how Errol Spence got up out that motherfucking arena with the quickness. I'm talking about he didn't want no parts of what was going on. Now people trying to make excuses for him, talking about he was just upset because of the stoppage. What the stoppage got to do with you fighting Crawford though? The stoppage has happened already. That's out the window. What's up with this Crawford Spence fight? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it's when Crawford beat Jeff Horn. And instead of calling out a specific person, he said, give me everybody at 147 who wanted. They bit his head off. They tore him a new asshole. Oh no, I wanted him to, he was supposed to call out Spence. He was supposed to did this. He was supposed to did that. When essentially he called out everybody. He said, I want the motherfuckers who got the belt. But now you flip the tables and they stick the mic in Errol's face. You got Champ Side Boxing asking him 3-4 times, hey, you know, now that he's a free agent, you see any obstacles of getting this fight? He ignored that man. He ignored him, did not answer the question. And that's what I'm concentrating on mostly out of this whole incident is the reluctance of Errol Spence to get in there with Terence Crawford. I hope everybody see it now because it's plain as day. Like, if you don't see who is who and why these fights haven't been made, then you just want to be a fanboy and you want to live in your ignorance. But we can see now what was the problem with getting a lot of shit done in the welterweight division, and it was not Crawford. That's Matt.
That's your piece?
Yeah.
All right. So, man, first of all, man, good fight last night. Salute to Sean Porter. Salute to Terence Crawford. Salute to Kenny Porter and Bomac as well, man. Just both sides, you know. I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a close fight. You know, I watched the fight again. And when I watched it again, it wasn't as close as I seen it last night in terms of and at a certain point of the fight where I was like, well, damn, I think Bud might be losing. You know what I mean? But when I looked at it again today, I seen something a little different. You know, I seen, even though I did see that Sean Porter wasn't as busy as he normally is, but when I seen it again, I really seen that he wasn't as effective as I thought he was last night in the moment, sort of say, to be more politically correct. But he did, have his spots, and all that good stuff. But um, I was on the edge of my seat last night watching the fight, man. That's how much into it I was, especially when the exchanges was starting to occur. That's just the type of fight fan I am. I'm always on the edge of my seat when I see those exchanges, especially with somebody that I really like. But back into the fight, though, man. I think that Sean Porter, I don't really think that he could have did nothing. There was, like I said before, and I stand by that. It was nothing he could have did last night to me, besides land a lucky shot like he did in the 8th round. It wasn't even luck. That was a good shot. It wasn't even luck. I'm not even gonna discredit Sean. That was a good shot, that overhand right, and he landed another shot early, like in the 4th round, kind of rocked Bud. Bud got rocked twice in that fight, and I believe he was a little hurt. He disguised it very well, but it wasn't enough. Uh, and But other than that, that's all Sean Porter really had to offer. He was reluctant to come in and get busy. Is why people was wondering why he wasn't so busy, is because the same way people thought he was throwing Bud rhythm off, Bud was throwing his rhythm off as well. And Sean Porter knew he couldn't just come in there reckless like that, because he already see what Bud was throwing at him when he was lunging in, the uppercuts, getting hit to the body. And that's another thing to touch on. Those body shots really, really slowed Sean Porter down. If you go back and watch the fight in the 5th round, Sean Porter was breathing real heavy. He was breathing real heavy. And then you could tell in the clinches by the 7th round, in the clinches, he was just laying his head all on Bud's shoulders like he was just wounded, but he still had, enough in the tank to still keep it interesting. But Sean Porter was tired last night. Those body shots, Bud leaning on him, tying him up, turning him when he coming in, and another thing, that right eye started to swell up real bad. I mean, not the left eye, not the one we got cut on, but the other eye where he got cut at. I mean, the opposite side, it started to swell up real bad. Like if he started in the 3rd round, it was starting to swell in the 3rd round when Bud started to land that jab on him when he turned southpaw. But as far as like with Bud, I mean, people saying that he got hit a lot, they wasn't impressed. Well, the thing is this: when you end up pressing action and stuff like that, you don't get hit. I could see if he was doing a Victor Postal type of fight, it would have been a little bit different. But he wasn't doing that type of fight. He was right there. He was right there. And hey, you're gonna get touched. You definitely gonna get touched, man. But like I said, good fight though, man. Everything panned out the way I thought it was. The stoppage, like I said, I told y'all this. I was arguing with people about this on OG Boxer Talk. This is where it all started at, about the Sean Porter shit. Truth be told, I think this is what D Nice might be alluding to too, where it was me versus the whole panel, and I told everybody what was gonna happen, that they was using Sean Porter as a pawn, and they were gonna fuck around and get Sean Porter stopped, because they don't really, they're not real fans of Sean Porter. They were just using it to keep use it as a barrier to keep him away from Earl Spence. That was it. That's all it was about. So now everybody's saluting Sean, who don't really care about Sean, because he sacrificed. He put his life on the line. And the thing about the stoppage, I don't disagree with the stoppage, even though the fight fan in me wanted to see more. That's just the thirst in us, because we all action junkies at the end of the day. I wanted to see Sean go out on his shield. I ain't gonna lie and act like I didn't, but the other side of me understood, because if it was my son, I'm not in Kenny Porter's situation, right? You know what I mean? So I can't say, oh, I would have let him go out on the shield. No, because if that was my son, I probably would have threw the towel in too. You know what I mean? So I can't say he was wrong for that. You got to put yourself in his situation. That's his son. So, but a part of me wanted, but at the end of the day, the stoppage is official though, because Sean wasn't coming back. Sean wasn't coming back. He still had some in him and all that, but he was going to keep getting knocked down over and over again. Either the ref was gonna stop or the Sham was gonna get hurt very badly. I mean, very badly. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got on that. You know, I did like I did notice when Bud was letting his hands go in the second half of the fight, Sean was having pure problems. I mean, pure problems. I think somebody might be trying to get in on the what's the name. Whoever it is, let me know who it was that just tried to get in on the chat. I mean, on the panel. But I forgot what the hell I was just saying just a minute ago. I lost my train of thought. But yeah. But anyway, man. So I'm gonna ask everybody a question. To segue into something else. We're gonna get on Earl Spence, man. I'm gonna start with you, Stormy. No, I'm gonna start with you, Hollywood Mark. I want you to tell me what was your thoughts about Earl Spence when the whole thing about him leaving the arena and all that stuff, you know, after Bud got the stoppage and whatnot.
But you know, that's Earl Spence way, you know. Whenever he's dealing with Crawford, to act like he doesn't exist. You know what I mean? That's just his way, man. But PBC did a tweet today with Crawford and Earl Spence together, and they say they wanted to make the fight according to that tweet, and Earl Spence retweeted it. So he might have been told not to say anything. You know what I mean? You know, they have that non-closure agreement thing going on with PBC. So he might have been told not to say anything because they were in Top Rank's camp and ESPN's camp. So they pretty much want Crawford to go to Fox PBC in order to make the Earl Spence fight, because they want to make all of the money from that fight. That's my take on it.
All right, so real quick, man, before I go to the next person, anybody in the chat who was trying to hit that link, let me know so I can make some adjustments so we can rotate a little bit. Yeah, and let me salute a couple of more people who came in here that I ain't get a hold to. Votes UK, salute to you, man. He says Al will have plans in place for Earl comeback after surgery, I think. Yeah. I think Earl might be fighting Ugas, man. I think Ugas might vacate the WBA title. I think he might fight Earl. I don't know. We're gonna find out soon. Mark Alonso already saluted you, Mark. Coach Sheldon Harrison in the building. Yes, sir. My main man is in the building, Coach. Y'all go salute the Coach Sheldon Harrison. Quest X in the building. Salute the Quest X. Y'all go salute the Quest X, man. I'm glad y'all came in here showing some love today. Who else I got off of here? Aubrey Davidson. What's good, fam? Long time no see you. No, that's right. But Quest X said you think Earl gonna take Ugas. I think that's gonna be a good fight, man. I think that's gonna be a good fight. But next, let me get your take on this real quick, D Nice. Let me get your take on this real quick on about. Oh, you already done said your piece on that. My bad. You already done told me about it. All right, Stormy. Let me hear what you gotta say real quick, Stormy. Sensei. Bars, go ahead, man.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So what was the actual question again? What do you?
Man, you over here asleep, man. You over here acting like Sean
Nah,
Porter at
no. What you said?
the goddamn interview thing, man.
Hurry up and say the question, man.
I done
Remind me
told you what the damn question was. Wake your ass up. And Earl, the whole thing about Earl walking out the damn arena last night. What's your take on it?
I'm really not even looking into that because I mean, what can I say? You know what I mean? They wasn't gonna announce a fight right then and there. What was it gonna talk shit? I mean, like they already went face to face with each other before. That was just it gave people videos and content. I mean, nothing for me. If y'all not gonna sign no contract, what's the conversation about?
It wasn't even about it. The whole thing is you there to watch the fight. You know people gonna interview you, my niggas. Like y'all are part of each other. Everybody want to see y'all fight. Why would you
Yeah, but
leave?
yeah, but the thing is with the situation is Early's not gonna say anything. He's not gonna give you what you want him to give you. He
No,
gonna
God,
what say the
God.
70-30 thing and get Crawford pissed off and we going back to the same shit. See. I mean, like, what is he? What was he gonna say? Was gonna satisfy the fans? He wasn't gonna satisfy it because he got to make sure I Heyman and he talked to I Heyman and everything and make sure PBC cool with everything. Like, I feel like the only thing he would have done was gave people content. If he engaged with Crawford, what happened a couple of years ago when they did the face-off? Did anything come to place with a fight? Nah. So again, like if they did the face-to-face, what give us videos? How much times Jamal Charles said, "I'll fight Demetrius Andre"? Did anything happen? When they went to face, when Andre came to the press conference and they engaged with each other, did anything happen? No. Like, bottom line is, if they're not signing no contract, I don't give a fuck what they got to say with one another. I don't care if he leave a fight, he attend a fight. If they ain't signing a contract, it don't matter. You know what I mean? That's my take on it.
All right, that's good. That's your take. All right. Well, my take is this. I think that he should. It looked bad to me. It's like being a unified champion, knowing damn well you got to see this man, or y'all supposed to see each other, and you sitting up there talking about, looking at the screen, the overhead, talking about that's bullshit, and then you just walk out. It's like, I mean, what that supposed to be all about? Yeah, I know everybody say that. Oh, Bud did it too, this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, it's like now it's time though. It's time for it's time to stop all the he did that, he did that. It ain't nobody else but y'all two left. So what we doing here? You know what I mean? What are we doing? So that's my whole take on it. I mean, it is what it is. I already done told y'all how I feel about Earl Spence, but you know, people can overlook it how they want to because they be in their feelings about when you tell the truth about somebody. But it is what it is. I'm only going off of what he showed me anyway. So I ain't putting no facts out there. I ain't making nothing up. I'm going off of everything he put out there. That's all I'm doing. So don't shoot me. Shoot the evidence.
Hey,
But
Trap,
anyway,
why do you think he was there? Do you think it was a possibility that because they had the whole entourage there, they had Ellaby there, they had the whole the promotional type of staff there. So were they hoping that Sean Porter won, so then they could bum rush the ring and establish some kind of promotion thing? Then it was
I
that
don't know. From what I'm hearing is that he said that he was gonna call out the winner or whatever. So why you ain't stick around and call out the winner then? And so Sean would have won. What you'd have did? You'd have stayed if Sean would have won.
I think he would have.
So do I.
Answer that.
I think that's what they was there for. I think that's the only reason they were there. If Sean Porter was the win, they was gonna bum rush the ring, make a big spectacle on the top rank and ESPN stage, get free promotion, and set it up like that. That would have been the perfect comeback fight for Spence. Not too tough, somebody you didn't already beat, and they was gonna run it like that. When Porter lost, you could see the disgust in Spence's face. So that just upset the apple cart, and there wasn't no point in being there no longer once Crawford won, because I don't think Spence has ever really had intentions on fighting Crawford.
He didn't, and he showed every bit of the class. The class. He showed some that was so classless last night that he did. He showed every bit of last night the shit that I've been saying off the dribble about him, but people don't want to. It's cool. It's cool in certain people's eyes, so it is what it is. You know, they're gonna overlook it. But that was very classless, bro. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. I mean, who does that?
But what do you think about the
What you're
tweet?
referring to?
Huh?
What you're referring to?
I'm talking about how he just mobbed up out of there last night.
Oh yeah, yeah. that boy. When he
What do you
left, he
think
heard
about his
him.
tweet today?
Why he ain't say all that last night? He could have said all that shit that he tweeted about in front of somebody's microphone and the camera. He had a number of opportunity last night to say all that shit. He ain't do none of that.
But he
So what I
retweeted
think about it, hold up, let me answer your question. What I think about it, not a fuck thing.
But what do you think about the tweet? What do you think about PBC Fox making the tweet? He just retweeted that tweet. So what do you think about the Fox PBC tweet?
Hey man, make it happen. But if you wasn't so confident, if you were so confident, then why you just couldn't stick around and just answer some questions? Just say I want him next. But yeah, I want him next. How hard is that?
But that's not in the PBC plans, bro.
Hey
Like,
man, look.
You know.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know they're going straight for August first. This is Earl coming off an
Then what was you there for? You could have kept your ass at home.
Bro, he came there. I just don't understand what does it matter.
No, I don't understand why you don't understand. If you ain't there to answer questions, hold up, bro. Let me break something down to you. If me and you got some shit going on, right? And we're in the same setting, my man. Don't you think the people want to hear some questions and shit like that? They don't want to see you mob out and all that old shit.
Did Crawford come to Danny Garcia? Did he say anything? No, bro. Like, why are you going at Earl for doing the same thing?
It ain't nobody else in the way no more. We had Pacquiao in the way at the time, bro. You missed everything I said earlier. You wasn't listening.
Ugas is still in the way. Ugas is still in the way.
Ugas
is still in the situation.
Ugas got obligation.
There you go, bro. There you go.
Ugas got obligations, but again, if Richard Schaefer does hella business with fucking Al Heyman, we don't know if they're going to pay a step aside for fucking Stanionis. We just thinking
it's not happening, bro. I know that for a fact.
Stanionis team has confirmed that they taking the fight to WBA.
That's right. It's a purse bid.
Like, so to even be talking about Ugas fighting
the purse bid never even happened. Y'all talking about something that is not. It didn't
happen yet.
We'll see. Because Richard Schaefer ain't gonna do no more business with PBC if that happens.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. We talking about Spence.
What are you talking about Richard Schaefer's for? Why are you talking about Richard Schaefer?
Because Stanionis is with Richard Schaefer.
Stanionis is with Al Heyman. Stanionis has an extension promotion with Richard Schaefer's with Problemo.
All right, so check this out. Real quick.
PBC.
Okay. Hey, real quick, Stormy. What's your take on Earl Spence mobbing out of the arena last night? And we're gonna move on to something else.
Yeah, and excuse me, man. My tablet, which I originally joined on, it froze up on me, and I couldn't do anything, couldn't type or nothing. It just locked up, so I had to go and get on my laptop. I apologize for that, man.
But let me tell you what happened real quick, man. Storm ain't gonna tell the truth, but his pupil that we don't know about was in there giving him pure hell, and he had to figure out how to get rid of him real quick and dust him off so he can get back on the panel, man. He was having trouble with his pupil.
Yeah, man. I think that Earl Spence has been playing this game far too long. And even in his own personal career, he's had some setbacks. He don't need to be playing games. He's already close to being as damaged goods as you can name without it happening in the ring. I think that anything he does going forward in the positive sense is all gravy, because let's just keep it honest. At the end of the day, he caused a lot of his own problems himself. That can't be denied. Accidents happen, but when you're burning the candle at both ends, you see what can happen. He ain't got time to be trying to play the game, acting like a diva and everything. And let's not overlook that. You got a lot of these guys out here today with women-like tendencies, bro. And they mask that as this masculine, but it's not masculine, because just like Trap House know, he's old enough to know, I'm old enough to know, the way that these men are moving today, that's not masculine. The true warriors would have faced each other already with the time that they had, okay? I don't really care if that fight takes place. Why did he show up to the arena for the match and then walk up out of there? Who knows? But that was Bud Crawford's night. And when Bud came to his event, he said he didn't ask him to be there. And they wouldn't let him near the ring or anything. Actually, they made him feel unwelcome. So he can surround himself with Spence Nation and continue to do the foolishness that he do, and let him go on about his business, man. Let him go on about his business. Because it's time to come out on him like everybody else been coming out on Bud. Bud has been doing nothing but putting in that work, okay? And what has Spence been doing? In the past few years, what's his greatest accomplishments? Positive or negatively? Just think about it. That tell you all you need to know. Nobody wants to hear that when they loving the fighter more than they loving the game. But I'm going to say it if nobody else will say it. And if they hate me for it, good. My skin is tough. Don't give a damn. That's all.
Okay. So let me ask everybody on the panel this question here, man. First of all, did y'all see? Did y'all think that Bud beat Sean easier than Earl, or you know, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Did y'all think he beat, and also did y'all think, what did y'all see different in that fight? You know, that y'all, you know, from the other fight, you know, that was like key, that made the difference, like the separation. Anybody can go first.
What's that question again?
Okay. What did you see? What was the separation in between the two fights that you seen that was key in that fight? Basically, that's the question.
Between Porter and Bud and Porter and Spence?
Yes, sir.
Bud's versatility. Spence likes to mask the fact that he can fight anybody else's style fight or whatever, or he chose to fight the other guy's fight. That's not true, man. If he could have did something else, he would have done something else, because Porter was definitely game and in that fight. Bud showed the versatility last night, and he showed the strength factor when Sean tried to push up on him early in the fight, and he let Sean know that he was the stronger man. So Sean had to make a reassessment, because that plan about jumping on him, remember he talked in blood, sweat, and tears about jumping on him, particularly when he switched. That went out the window because he found out that wasn't going to work. There was a point in that fight where he lunged at Bud, and Bud stepped to the side and with one hand cuffed him behind the head right into the ring post. One hand. Sent him sprawling right into the ring post. And I said this before the fight with Spence, when Spence hit him with that left, and it buckled him and his glove touched the canvas. They call it a knockdown. I said if that was Bud Crawford, he would have been on the canvas if not knocked out, because their punches are different. Bud throws sharp, crisp, snapping punches, and he can hit with both hands. Earl's punches are more bludgeoning and you know, it's like a thumping punch. It's like it's not the same. They throw different types of punches, and you could see Bud was off a little bit because his timing wasn't there. He'd been out of the ring over a year, and it affects you. So his longest inactivity in his career. But as the rounds went on and Sean got a little tired from them body shots, the connection rate went way up in those last couple of rounds. And you saw what happened. He ended the fight. So just imagine if that sharpness was there from the beginning. And I remarked this earlier on my live stream. I said, this was the biggest I ever saw Bud rehydrate up after the weigh-in. He looked like a true welterweight last night. And he was very strong. Very strong. So all that talk about he ain't a natural welterweight and all of that, man, throw all that stuff out the window, man. This guy's the best in the business right now at that level. And they're just going to have to, you know, suck it up, Buttercup. You don't like it, do something about it.
I feel the same way. I definitely feel the same way. I think the biggest difference between the two fights was Crawford's distance control, the way he controlled where Porter was able to launch his attack from. When he was in the orthodox stance, Porter was able to get off because he was closer. When he switched to southpaw and he took the jab away, that made everything that much harder for Sean Porter because he had to launch his attack from so far out, which was leading him into them uppercuts and them check left hooks. And I agree with my man that he was rusty. He was definitely rusty because you could see him missing by inches. And the more he kept throwing, the better the connect rate went. So Porter was really up against the wall last night, man, because once the game plan went out the window, them bullying him being the strongest fighter, him being a rougher fighter, I don't really think he had anywhere to go from there. So I think what got him to the 10th round was just pure heart. And that was the biggest difference I've seen in that fight. And he even said it as much in the post press conference. He said fighting Spence is not as hard as fighting Crawford. And I think that pretty much sums it up right there.
Yeah, man, you must be living in my doggone head. You must have morphed in my head, D-Nice, because you took all my thoughts out of my head, man. I'm talking about every last bit of it. Everything you said, I pretty much wanted to lay it out there just like that, you know. I'm gonna tell you, man, it ain't, and I hate to be a piece of shit, man, but it ain't nothing funny in the scene. When Sean Porter get knocked down, bro, it'd be funny because he'd be so pissed off. The way he was punching that ground last night, I was over there tickled, man, last night.
Why didn't he punch Bud like that, though?
Hey, D-Nice just explained it. Distance control. It was hard for him, bro, and that was the thing. Like, I noticed early in the fight as soon as he turned, even before he turned southpaw, I noticed. I said, Bud controlled the distance way better than Earl do. And like you said, Stormy, he tried to mask it up with the saying he could fight the fight that he fight and all that. And I never agreed with that either. I never agreed with that because if you could have did more, you would have made that fight much more easy. Because even after the fight, he said, even in certain interviews, he say, "Oh, I ain't gonna fight the way I fought him last time. I could damn sure tell you that." So that lets you know he wasn't prepared. He had to prepare to do something different. He couldn't do nothing different on that night, or he would have dug in his back pocket and did it. Bottom line.
That makes 2 fights he fought the other guy fight, right? He fought Mikey's fight, which is his excuse for not knocking out Mikey. He wanted to show he could box. And then against Sean, he fought Sean's fight, but he had no answers to do anything differently. In fact, Sean giving him the angles in the fight kind of kept Sean in the fight because he couldn't adjust to that very well at all. Now, what do you think Bud would have did with Mikey? He would have got him on up out of there, and we wouldn't even be mentioning Mikey's name today. So we can blame Earl for that too, keeping Mikey in the game. Because Mikey done run, he really done run a shit show since Earl let him survive. Had he just taken that dude out, we wouldn't have heard nothing else from Mikey. But Mikey came back talking big time stuff and everything. And, you know, I blame him because he was supposed to take care of that business. Now, had he not taken care of that business last night, Bud against Porter, what do you think Spence Nation would be saying today?
There's been a lot to talk about.
They were chomping at the bit, boy, especially with Porter winning early rounds, you know. But one thing I'll tell you about Bud Crawford, they'll always win some early rounds against him because those are the times when he's downloading that data that I talked about and learning, you know, where his angles and stuff are gonna, you know, benefit him. And later, as he put in that work, body work, certain shots that guys don't see and stuff like that, ain't nobody going to the 12th, bro. I mean, you know, finishing the 12th round. You got 1 to 12, but you're going to be up out of there. That man can punch with both hands.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for somebody.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, if you saying you fought everybody's fight, what fight did you fight Danny Garcia's fight? That wasn't shit. Like, what was that? So I don't even know what that was.
Well, the problem in that fight, and you think about it, you go back to Danny Garcia's dad. He was mad as hell because Danny wouldn't jump on the guy. That was Danny's chance. He was supposed to jump on Earl. You think Bud gonna lay back like Danny did?
No.
Bud gonna test them ribs. He gonna test that noggin. He gonna make sure that everything, like they say, he came out of that, you know, that accident, he had to do some bridge work and stuff like that. But Bud gonna check, make sure all the pipes are tight and everything. And I guarantee you, he gonna find the weakness.
And it ain't gonna be hard to figure Earl out, because Earl, it ain't like Earl on his toes. He flat-footed coming forward. But
listen, Earl told Bud all he need to know about him, about how he lived. You understand? Yep. Bud don't live like that. He don't burn the candle at both ends. He don't look for where the party at and all that. You can buy a farm and go out in the woods and all of that stuff all you want to. But what's in you is in you. That stuff ain't in Bud. But you can believe that fighting nature is. And like I said before, what you think Bud would do to Danny? Why Danny don't want to get in there with him?
He know it. He know why.
See, it's a different thing. It's a different thing when you in there with somebody that's gonna come and box you and compete, right? But when you got somebody in there that want to take your head off and want to knock you out, not because they hate you, because that's what they love to do, and they're good at it. I tell you, these beta male dudes out here today, man, it's like they try to talk tough and all of that stuff. That's not tough, man. It's not tough. And for those out there, a part of the nation, so to speak, they like to say, steel sharpens steel. Well, he looks kind of rusty because he ain't been in there with nobody that really want to compete with him.
Who do you see Spence's next fight being?
As much as he want to go into a big fight, they're going to give him a softer touch. You could believe that.
Yeah, I definitely.
And do you think he would fight a possible Keith Thurman, because both of them been kind of like on that injury reserve list?
Well,
that's a perfect opponent.
That's an opponent that they'll probably try to make or whatever. But I'm here to tell you this about Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has the style to beat Earl too. It's just that he don't
Yeah.
have that same desire that he once had before he got into the Eastern Kama Sutra and all of that stuff. See, when he got
true.
over there and started messing around with them flutes and love potions, it took everything away from him.
I agree.
One of the strongest things that a male fighter can keep is his testosterone and everything. That woman done depleted Keith Thurman. He don't have the same approach to fighting that he once had. He can talk about the sport. He'll be a better commentator than Sean Porter. But as far as fighting, I don't think we'll ever see him at that level again.
Okay. Well, Bars, what's your take on the separation and the fights, man? But before you get going real quick, let me salute a couple of people in the chat real quick. Let me see. D Hodges, salute to you, brother. I know I've seen somebody I ain't seen here. Salute to you, D Hodges. Emmett Johnson, salute to you. Ricky Knight, salute, man. Who else I got in here? Okay, that's pretty. I don't call it with everybody else. Like I said, anybody want to salute to donate to the channel, man, the link in the description box of the Cash App information, all this stuff is in the chat, description box, all that good stuff. So it'd be nice. Barzina, go ahead and spit your piece, brother.
I mean, Crawford did do better. I mean, he got the knockout. I mean, which fight I enjoyed more? I enjoyed the Spence and Sean Porter more because it was more entertaining. But Crawford he won better than his performance was much better than everybody that beat him. You know what I mean? But again, if that's what we're comparing, that's the only thing y'all wanted to ask. But I'm surprised people like shitting on her performances on Mikey and Danny because I didn't see them winning rounds. You know what I mean? I didn't see them win no rounds. So to us to shit
Mikey
on
the
their
lightweight? You're telling me a
I
lightweight?
said we shitting on people's performances because the nigga won every round. That's
Against a
basically what I'm
lightweight.
saying. It don't matter. He won every round. Why we're talking about because he didn't knock him out? It doesn't
Yes.
matter.
That was the
It
expectation.
don't like. I mean, like we talking about knockouts now. Like we such a Shakur is supposed to knock out everybody. Like
What happened to Man Down? What happened to Man Down?
Oh, what about One Time? One Time don't. Keith Thurman's my favorite fighter. He ain't knocking out nobody. Like
So what?
we getting mad at
not what
niggas for
Spence
not
is Keith
knocking out
Thurman?
niggas.
No, we
Spence is
criticize.
the new Keith Thurman?
We criticize. I'm saying my only thing is I see people shitting on Spence performances and he won every round. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You're not putting it in context. The idea for Spence going into the Mikey Garcia fight wasn't for him to win every round. That was not the consensus. The consensus of him going into that fight was he was supposed to steamroll Mikey Garcia.
Yeah,
and after Mikey Garcia just lost to his last fight to the Sandoval guy, that really makes Spence win age like milk. Like it's really not looking that hot anymore. But furthermore, when you're a fighter and you get this great praise and you're the number one man, you're supposed to be the creme de la creme. You're not supposed to go 12 rounds with a guy that's coming up in weight. That was not the expectations that was placed on Errol Spence. So when he doesn't live up to expectations, he's going to be criticized.
I get the criticize, but I mean, like, we supposed to uplift these black men. You know what I'm saying? Like, we out here shitting on Spence. We shitting on Spence for he won every round. I'm like, yo, that was 2019. He didn't knock him out. He won every round. We talking about Danny Garcia that a nigga didn't win not one round. Like that was the first time Angel Garcia and Danny admitted that they lost. When they said they got robbed with Sean Porter because it was biasness because of race, because we were saying the nigger word and shit. That's why we lost. It was the politics. That why we lost to Sean Porter. Keith Thurman, we didn't lose to Keith Thurman, but he finally admitted he lost to Spence. I mean, this all I'm saying is these guys, Earl won those fights. He won. At the end of the day, he won. Like I didn't see you. If you gonna criticize him for not knocking out anybody, there's Keith Thurman was known for being one punch. Was known for just the one punch. Earl Spence was not somebody was known for a one punch. He was never no tank. He was never no. He was just somebody like Jarrett Hurd, but just more accurate, wearing down fighters. That's all he was. He was never no.
Look, Spence Nation been blaming Bud, ain't fought nobody his whole time since he been at welterweight and everything. Past those other weight classes, that don't matter and everything. Well, Sean Porter ain't nobody either now, huh? Because
we have to give him. We got to give him credit for the Sean Porter win. But I'm just like,
you give him credit for all of his wins. Don't give him credit for one. He was a champ before Earl Spence was, but albeit at a lower weight class. And now he done come up there where Spence said to wreak havoc.
Said we wasn't giving
Spence is
credit
everywhere else, but in the ring with him. But that's a fact.
Who didn't give him credit for winning the fights?
A lot of guys.
A lot of people.
A lot of people
discredit.
It's like they try to talk Bud like he's a cancer or something. And I'm tired of that mess, man. I'm tired. It's like, listen, you either call it straight clean across the board or shut the hell up. Because people come up with all types of excuses for who they like. The sport is supposed to be a competitive sport, but we got too many prima donnas and they don't do anything. They don't fight anybody. 8 knockouts in a row since he's joined the division and can't get the other guys in the ring with him. Sean Porter is a man. He stepped up to the plate. But
didn't Keith Thurman say he want to fight the dude?
No.
Oh my God. He didn't say that.
If Keith Thurman wanted to fight him, wouldn't Keith Thurman be in decent shape, ready to get a comeback and ready to get in the ring? He's still walking around like almost 200 pounds.
Bob Arum was the one saying he asking for too much money. So what?
Are you listening to Bob Arum now? See?
You see how
it's always something.
Why would they pay him $10 million?
He only made $2 million for.
You just said Keith Thurman didn't want to make a fight. Y'all just said Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him.
He don't. He didn't. When he came up to the division, Keith Thurman act like he didn't know who he was. Just like he's acting like he don't know who Jerron Boots Ennis is now.
We're talking about the past. We're talking about present time. Keith Thurman been asking for the Keith Crawford fight. In present time, why
$10 million?
Why do you think Sean Porter and Keith Thurman don't got to fight?
For $10 million, why do you think Keith is on the show?
Of it though, man.
Hey, salute, fellas. How y'all doing, man?
We cool, man.
What's up, Knockout 86 TV?
Hey, what's up? So I want to say something real quick, man. Like Terence Bud Crawford came out after his great performance yesterday, and he said Bob Arum couldn't get me these fights, and that's basically why he's leaving. So if he's admitting he's saying Bob Arum couldn't get him the fights that he wanted, why we still blaming fighters like fighters was ducking him and not blaming Bob Arum when the man who's in the ring himself said his promoter couldn't get him the fights? So why are we still acting like people been running around here ducking him?
See?
No. That's not it. But what he's saying is that they won't do business with him. So it's like he can't get the fight done. That's just even with like say Eddie Hearn. If they can't do business with Eddie Hearn, he can't get the fight done. It ain't nothing he can do about it, bro.
No, I feel that, and I understand there's nothing he could do about it because Bob Arum couldn't get the job done. But if his promoter's not doing his job and he's not willing to pay people, for instance, just playing devil's advocate, I ain't trying to start a debate. I just want to talk boxing with you, brothers. But this fight had the threat of going to purse bid. Otherwise, Bob Arum wouldn't have paid Sean Porter, bro. So let's not act like Terence Crawford running around here getting ducked by all of these people. And Bob Arum has a history of this. Let's look at Cotto had to leave. Pacquiao had to leave. Floyd had to leave. People get bigger and they finally get fights when they seem to leave him. He's great for a prospect, up and coming, starting a career. But once you become established, once you become a champion, and once you become a pound-for-pound fighter, seems like history has told us that it's better for your career when you get out from under Bob Arum. So taking nothing away from Terence Crawford's greatness in the ring, why are we still running with this narrative, some of us, that people are running around here scared of Terence Crawford and ducking him when history shows us that Bob Arum just doesn't do good business with established pound-for-pound minority fighters. He just can't get them fights.
Let me rebuttal that. Like, the narrative that people are ducking Crawford is true. We can see that. The promoter said as much in their press conference when he let you know that it's the fighters who call the shots and they get the fights that the fighters want. Secondly, people choose when and when not to believe Bob Arum. One minute he's a liar, one minute he's telling the truth. Now, as far as Crawford is concerned, everything that Crawford has done that was great up to this point was under Bob Arum. Everything. So history does not show us that he doesn't know how to manage fighters. Everyone he had star potential before they left. Now, the previous guys left because they were unhappy with what was going on, which panned out for them. But right now, Crawford has been undisputed, had the biggest payday in his career, and a 3-time world champion under Bob Arum. I took from when he said that Bob couldn't get him to fight because them dudes wouldn't do no business with Bob Arum for whatever reason that may be, maybe personal, maybe because he sued the PBC or whatever. So that's a business decision. But the narrative that people are ducking is true because Keith Thurman never wanted any parts of Terence Crawford. When he got up there, he called the WBO the WB no. Like he said that people didn't respect that belt. How don't you respect one of the 4 belts that you need to be undisputed? That makes no sense. Then second time around, you asking for $10 million when you only made $2 million to fight Pacquiao. And you lost. And you don't have a bet. So in what figuration do you get $10 million? That's my biggest notion. And we see that these guys don't want to fight him.
Okay.
Spence didn't want to even talk about him last night. He didn't even want to mention that man's name. Let
me say this then, D Nice. So if that's the case, if the promoters work for the fighters, does it look like Shakur Stevenson is getting the Valdez fight, the fight that he wants? No. So we all know that's false, that's bogus, bro. We know that. So we know that. And then the second thing I would say about Keith Thurman asking for $10 million, you left out the part where he said, yeah, I asked for $10 million, but I'm open to negotiate. They didn't even come back with anything. So again, Bob Arum showing an unwillingness to negotiate for his fighter, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's no knock on Terence Crawford to say that. Bob Arum just hasn't had his best interest at heart. And if that's the case, like Manny Pacquiao, who has ducked no one, Terence Crawford chased that man for damn near a decade. And Bob Arum openly said, I didn't get him that fight, that I stopped that fight from happening. So if this is the case, what do we – I don't understand this notion that because people want to negotiate, because people want the most money to fight Terence Crawford, like that's a sign of respect. You know who else people want the most money to fight? They want the most money to fight Canelo Alvarez too. When Anthony Joshua was the king of the heavyweight division, even right now, people want the most money to fight AJ. That's what comes with being the best. Yes, it's a high-risk fight in Terence Crawford because he might knock your ass out. So people expect a high-ass reward too, bro. But I don't think that means that they ducking because people want to make a bunch of money fighting him. You know what I'm saying? That's Bob Arum not wanting to pay anyone, bro. That's just all it is. We would not have gotten this great performance by him. We would not have gotten this great fight if the WBO didn't mandate this fight, bro. Bob Arum was not trying to play Sean Porter. Kenny Porter said they went into the office, and I ain't heard nobody from Terence Crawford's side or Bob Arum say that it's a lie. He said he went into the office trying to make the fight, and Bob Arum had no interest in making the fight. The only reason this fight got made was because it was forced, bro.
You know,
because he
Porter
had
basically
to.
prophesied everything that you
Had
just
to.
said. Porter
Because he
said,
had
Porter
to,
actually
bro.
said way before all of this fight ever happened, he said that when the fight will happen, he said the people will say it's because this person, the WBO mandated it, that the promotion companies came together. He says, no, when the business people of boxing want to bring it together, that's when the fight will happen. But they'll make any excuse for it. And that's what
I
Porter
believe.
actually said. He said that about almost a year ago.
Hey,
I feel you, but
Mark.
going off
That's the
going
page.
off of what the information that we actually have, and not Sean Porter's inclination. The WBO, it's a fact. It's in writing. It's in paper. They ordered this fight, and they said if you don't make certain amount of negotiations, if you don't get this fight done by a certain amount of time, we're going to purse bid. That's what actually happened. What Sean Porter said he thought was gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. Some dude back in the shadow room making business deal, all that shit. Like what actually happened was that the WBO mandated this fight. And if they didn't mandate this fight, they would have never negotiated, bro. It's just that plain and simple.
It
They were
still would have
forced to
happened.
negotiate.
I hear your point,
Still would have
but you see that Bob Arum doesn't have a problem with letting a fight go to purse bid, i.e. Teofimo Lopez. So that
And he
man,
still ain't fight. He still ain't fought
He
yet
doesn't
either.
have a problem.
I
He doesn't
understand
have
that,
a
but that has
problem with a
nothing to
fight
do with
going to purse bid that's not
that.
going to make him money. He has a problem with
Right.
a big fight that's going to make him money going to purse bid. Let's get that correct.
Right.
Teofimo
And that's
Lopez
why he
versus
that's
George
why he paid.
Kambosos is nothing close to Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter.
I
So he
understand
let
Nothing
that.
that
But
other
close.
fight. He let that
he's
other
making my
fight go to
point.
purse bid because he knew that fight was not going to make him money. He didn't let this fight go to purse bid because it can be a pay-per-view fight and it's gonna make him money. All Bob Arum care about is pocket. He don't care about his fighters, bro.
I can't say that necessarily because everything that again,
Or unless your last name is
done is great.
Valdez. If your last name Valdez, he care about you. But if your name is
Everything
Stevenson
that
or
Crawford has
Crawford
done that's
or
great has
Johnson or
been
some
under
shit,
top
he don't
rank.
care about you,
I don't
bro.
understand that.
Wait.
I don't understand
Everything.
where you get that he doesn't do good by Terence
Wait.
Crawford. Man, Terence Crawford was undisputed
Okay.
under top rank.
I say that
It's cool
because
that
I
you
think
say that. That
I say
sounds
that
good. It
because I
sounds
think
like
that
a
we
good
all
theory.
can agree that Terence Crawford should be a much bigger name and a much better household name
Yes,
than he
right.
was. That's why I
And
say
his
that, bro.
promoter didn't promote him, right? See, all
That's what I'm
Bob did
saying.
is all Bob has been doing has been taking his cut. That's all Bob been doing. Bob ain't been doing no damn work. He run around here telling us that he can buy another house
Bob Arum
in
has
Beverly
has
Hills.
took 10 to 20%, whatever it is, of that man's purse to literally come out
Right.
and be the worst promoter for him in the history of boxing, bro.
Right.
I
He
think
ain't
y'all
promoted the kid.
like all the accomplishments that Terence Crawford has made, and he's the worst promoter, and that don't make any sense.
Bro,
That makes little
accomplishments
no sense at
ain't
all.
nothing. It's
The man
world
fight on
champions all over the
ESPN.
place.
Hey, yeah, right.
Man,
But I
fight
mean,
on
Tank
accomplishments
Davis
don't mean
got
nothing to me, bro.
accomplishments for
Yeah,
a
and
different belt every weight
and look
class.
at who he
And that
fighting.
ain't
yeah, but
shit.
Nobody's
that
happy
don't mean
with him.
nothing. That's
Tank
not
Davis
the
is a
that's
bigger
not the
star.
equivalent. Says who?
Says the pay-per-view sales. What are you talking about? Are you
Crazy
serious?
225 and 180. That's not a big difference.
Listen, man. Tank
I'm
Davis is
listening.
selling out in Atlanta, Georgia. He don't even live there.
And he's
When the
selling
last
out
time
in
you heard of a
Omaha,
fight being in
Nebraska. What is
Atlanta?
he talking about?
Okay,
He sell out Omaha every time he go to Omaha.
Listen, you can believe what you want to believe, but the
So do
facts
you.
are still the facts.
What fact?
We're not dealing with emotion. The facts is the facts. Tank Davis has been promoted very well compared to the money that Terence Crawford has been giving Bob Arum for the last 5 or 6 years, who hasn't promoted him.
I disagree. That's your
Okay, you
opinion.
can disagree. That's cool.
Yeah,
You can disagree
that's
all
your
you want,
opinion.
but what I'm telling you is this: they selling Tank Davis fighting bums on pay-per-view, and people are actually buying that shit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, Roger. So what are you talking about? I mean, you just gonna bring up these big to nowhere. I mean,
Your phone, you breaking up. We can't hear you. You breaking up pretty bad. You breaking
Right
up
now,
pretty
Crawford
bad.
is bigger than Tank is.
Hell yeah, because he just beat Sean Porter. But up
On
until
top
this
rank.
fight, he was
Hold on,
not.
Mark. Repeat that again, bro.
On top rank.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
Mark was
hold
Borgen.
on.
Hey, Mark was Borgen, y'all.
Hold up. What you about to say, Mark?
I was telling them that Tank is not bigger than no Crawford. He doesn't make that much money himself. He's not no pay-per-view star. We're all giving Tank this props because he's behind Mayweather. Take Mayweather factor away. Suppose he was with Barham. Do you think they?
He breaking up, y'all.
Come on,
you breaking up real bad, bro.
Definitely cooking. I feel what he's saying though, because Tank is not a bigger name than Crawford. Tank don't fight on a bigger network than Crawford. Tank don't make as much money as Crawford. That's
he don't have a big purse guarantees him. That's 100% fact. But and I don't even care about the money and shit. But in terms of like, if you want to talk money, like live gate revenue, pay-per-view numbers, Tank generates more money than him right now, bro. This was his biggest fight in a long time. Like, think about it. Last year in 2020, when Tank was doing Leo Santa Cruz pay-per-view numbers on top of the live gate that he was doing, Terence Crawford was fighting Kell Brook in a bubble, bro. Like, it's really not close. It's really not close in terms of the revenue that they generate. But I don't even want to do that. What I'm happy about,
I don't even want to talk about that. I'm happy he won the fight.
Terence Crawford is up out from under Bob Arum.
That's what I'm happy about.
Should be happy, bro, and he should go
he can
get
do what he
whatever
want.
fight that he wants, bro. Because he got a name like that and he ring in the streets like that, bro.
See, I don't think that's even should be an issue. Who he fights under or who he fights with, like that don't make any sense.
I agree.
Canelo just did it. Canelo just did it though, bro. Canelo just did it.
I agree with you, D-Nice.
Canelo, I'm talking about
it shouldn't be.
I understand it shouldn't be, bro, but it is what it is.
When you got more hands in the cookie jar, bro, when there's more people wanting to cut of the purse, wanting to cut of the gate, wanting to cut of the money, it's harder to do business. So by him being
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick.
It's gonna make it easier to do business.
Knockout. Let's talk about this. How can you expect him to walk into PBC office with Bob Arum after Bob Arum just canceled the Fury and Wilder fight over arbitration for a whole year? Like, I don't want to do business with nobody that try to cut me out of a contract where I'm guaranteed some money.
But then they turned around and did business with him. So
I'm saying they did do business, but bro, when you do business in your real life, if somebody cuts you, you're not going back to them the next week. You're going to do business with somebody else.
All right, so let me ask a different question real quick. Let me ask a different question, man.
Go ahead.
So what y'all, one by one, real quick, KP from KC, what you think about Sean Porter retiring last night? What you think about that?
He didn't have no fights left, bro. He got every fight that they gave him on PPC, and he got Bud Crawford. He got all the fights he could get. He might as well retire. Or Gerard Ennis was next.
So my thing is this: if he said he went up there and said that he was going to retire, he knew he was going to retire in the Earl Spence fight and all that. So if that's the case, why you just saying retire when you lost? Why you probing for a rematch and all this other shit? If he
was
really
was going to retire, then he wanted another check. He wanted another check. K Diddy needed another check, dog.
So he wasn't for real about boxing at that point, and that's pretty much what Kenny was saying yesterday.
Maybe, but Kenny ain't gonna deny that check that he get. Kenny ain't gonna deny that check he get from it.
Yeah, but he basically said Sean been having 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what Sean basically said.
Yeah, I mean, he can say that. I mean, he went and fought the fight though. He fought like he had all his heart into it though.
My question to Kenny Porter would be, okay, if he was 1 foot in and 1 foot out, how come you ain't stopped the fight when it was so competitive then?
He said he was gonna stop it off the dribble before it even. He said he was gonna stop the fight. Period.
And all that does to me is take credit away.
It's take away.
Crawford. Don't nobody
yeah, fuck that shit, bro. I ain't taking no
credit. He said he wasn't even gonna proceed with the fight in the beginning. He said he was gonna call the fight off.
Kenny said that in that post fight. I don't know what the hell Kenny got going on, but that was foul
to save face because Sean Porter retiring.
That was foul to me, bro. That was foul to me, bro.
He's trying to save face, and he want people. He want Barry Hunter and
because he basically minimized with him. Yeah, he minimized what Bud Crawford did in the ring when he did that.
So you saying he trying to save face by trying to minimize Bud's accomplishments, what he did in the ring?
No,
by him saying he was 1 foot in and 1 foot out in the ring, he should have said that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, think of every move he made leading up to this. Why you have your son? If he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, ain't Tank a dangerous ass sparring partner? Or was you just trying to get Tank a good look because Barry Hunter is your boy and you want to continue to have people to go to and gyms to go to and fighters to train, like everything. And then just me as a father myself, bro, like what he did, saying that, hey man, he didn't prepare properly. That's why I stopped the fight, bro. That's like you go to a barbecue with your kid a toddler or whatever, and your kid use the bathroom on themselves, and you got to go change their pants, and a family member asks you what happened. I'm not gonna be like, man, I taught my son how to use the bathroom, but shit, he peed on himself, and I don't know what's going on. No, I'm be like, oh man, we wasted a drink on it. You know what I'm saying? He wasted a soda or something. We got to go change his pants right quick. I'm not gonna embarrass my son in front of the world like that, bro. Like he could have said anything. Like even if that's the truth, even if what he said was true, the proper answer is, hey man, I saw he was hurt. I didn't think he could recover. So that you ain't embarrassing your son, bro. That's
what fighter? Because what fighter in their right mind gonna go to Kenny Porter after he did his son like that?
I mean, I think it'll be a few fighters that want to get in there because the proper answer is the answer that he gave. Now, it's not the answer that you may have gave, and it's not the answer that I would have gave, but it was proper because he knew who he was talking about. I never questioned the man how they interact with their children, and Sean is his child, so he knows him better than anybody, and that may have been something that they had discussed amongst themselves because you see that Porter wasn't terribly upset with what was going on in that, with the aftermath of that fight. Yeah, he was disappointed that he lost, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't flip on his father. He wasn't upset, to the point where they wasn't talking, where he felt some type of way or it was physical animosity between them two. I think that was some stuff that they had discussed on numerous occasions. I think the fact that he went in there with Tank and Tank had good work for him lets you know that he wasn't ready for Terence Crawford, because if Porter was who they said Porter was, Tank shouldn't have had no good work for Porter. So,
I can't say that.
Yeah,
I can't say that.
Tank
I mean, look at their height. Their height is pretty close, but their height is pretty close.
Put Tank in there with Crawford and see what happens. Tank going to sleep.
Hey, real quick, hey, Mark, what you think about the Sean Porter retirement plan? What do you think about him retiring and all that?
Well, I think he still had some more fights in him, but if he feels like he should retire, he should just go ahead and do that, because he could have fought like Regis, somebody like that, but not somebody like Ennis and Virgil Ortiz and Jesus Ramos, not those kind of guys. That's too much, So it was good that he retired, though. While he still got all his facilities, he got a commentator job, big time. You know what I mean? So he's straight.
Yeah. Well,
he said he didn't want to be no gatekeeper.
He was already a gatekeeper. It was too late. But
he knew it.
Yeah, it was already too late. He was already He was gatekeeper 2-3 losses ago. People already been labeling him gatekeeper. But
we
want to
labeled
become a journeyman.
You're right. We labeled him that, but he was still challenging for titles. I think a gatekeeper is somebody that ain't challenging for titles, though.
No. What I'm saying is like his level, like the level of fight. We all pretty much knew what Sean Porter was gonna be, bro. Like we knew he wasn't the. Come on, man. I mean, we see what his cap was already. His ceiling was limited, bro. If you thought Sean Porter was gonna be undisputed, nah, or anything like that, it wasn't. No, but what I'm just saying is like the general consensus. What I'm just saying, like everybody pretty much knew that Sean Porter had done maxed out his potential already, bro. He wasn't gonna get. He was pretty much his career was gonna pan out how it was, in my opinion.
Actually, Trap House, he actually got more out of his career than Keith Thurman.
Yeah. Talking about like far as activity wise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying as far as him being able to fight all those guys, he got more chicks probably.
Yeah, activity wise. But as far as like who got the better bargain out the deal, Keith Thurman did, because he beat Sean Porter. And he only lost one time.
He got the
but anyway, So real quick, man, what's next for Bud? Y'all can each individually answer that real quick, man.
Gotta be Earl Spence, bro. Gotta
It's
be.
only one
I
I
don't
fight.
want
mean,
to
It's
see.
only one fight.
I don't want to see no
realistically,
other fight. That's
realistic.
realistic. He said he wants
Realistically,
to
Josh
fight.
Taylor.
PBC is out here tweeting the shit. Earl Spence is retweeting the shit. Bud Crawford ain't got Bob Arum no more. If this fight don't happen next, when it's gonna happen, bro? There's no barriers to this fight. None whatsoever.
Yep.
So we get to find out if who really won and who really don't. Because if the only way I would be okay with this fight not happening next if it's Earl Spence is forced by the IBF to fight Abdul Kakarov or whatever his name is as a mandatory challenger. I don't want any voluntary defense for either fighter. Earl Spence gave his word, said he don't want no tune-up. He want to come back and fight a champion. Well, the WBA belt is tied up in the damn tournament till probably the end of 2022.
And we
So
don't
that
give a
means that
damn
you got to
about
fight the WBO champion,
So
or you got
let
to
me
fight
give
your
you let me
mandatory.
ask you a
That's the only
follow up
thing should be
question real.
next.
Let me
Yes,
ask you a
sir, bro.
follow up question real quick. So based on what you've been seeing as of last night, have anything swayed your mind or your opinion on who you got out of Bud versus Spence? I don't know.
Nah,
I don't
cause
know who you picked anyway though.
styles make fights. I don't believe in that triangle theory stuff. I think Spence brings some things to the table that Sean Porter didn't bring, and vice versa. I think Bud brings obviously some stuff to the table that no Spence opponent has brought. I'm not putting any stock in what happened with the Sean Porter fight. It was a very competitive fight. Until Bud stopped him. Bud ended up stopping his ass. But that don't change my mind one way or the other. I gotta see how these fighters do in training camp, break down film, and then make my pick at that point. But I don't hold any weight in there in terms of who will win that fight. To me, that's still a 50-50 fight. They can go either way.
All right, so let me ask you this too. One more follow up question. All right, so in the fight last night, right? Did you hold on 1 second, yeah. Hold on 1 second. Matter of fact, KP, answer that question. I'm gonna come back with a follow up. I gotta do
It's
something real
only all
quick.
right. I got you. It's only one fight left, and that's the Spence fight. I don't want to. I'm not paying for no Spence fight. Nobody else. He can't get the Ugas fight based on WBA. If he fight the mandatory because of ring rust, he can get that fight. That's cool. But since Terence is a free agent, if I was him, I'd just sit on ice and watch Spence's comeback fight, and then that's the next fight I take. I'm not about to just run because he don't really have. Terrence really don't have another option because Keith been out so long. Ain't nobody gonna really respect that if he fight Keith next. Manny's done. Ugas is in the WBA thing. I mean, he don't have another fight. They really only got to fight each other. So if Spence come back and do the mandatory deal, that's cool. He get his mandatory, get the ring rust off. Then they go straight into their fight, and that's it. I mean, that's all they got. All they got is each other, unless they want to look at Jerron Ennis, and I don't think they do. If I was them, I wouldn't.
Well, Crawford has two options. He has an option to fight Spence, and he also has an option to fight Josh Taylor. Also,
That's true. I just don't know. How Bob Arum ass is spiteful. If Crawford really
Yeah,
left his ass, I
yeah.
don't know if he gonna feed Josh Taylor to
Nah,
him. But I love that
nah.
fight too. I wouldn't trip on that. But I think the only
Yeah,
one to make it Spence.
yeah. I don't see him feeding Josh Taylor to him, and he just did him like that on stage.
I want both
Nah, I don't
fights.
think he will. I want them both too, but I don't
Hell
see
yeah.
Bob doing that, bro. I really don't
Mark,
see
answer the
Bob doing
question
that.
though.
What's that?
The first question I had asked Knockout and KP from KC.
What do Crawford do from now? What does he do next?
No. I had done asked a whole nother question, bro.
You remember your follow up question you was gonna ask me?
Uh, damn. No, I don't even remember that one. But I was trying to get him to answer the question I had to initially
What's
asked
the
you.
fight? He had said, "What's the fight that's supposed to be next for Crawford, bro?" That's what he was basically
And I
trying to
had
get
done
your
followed up
opinion on.
another question after that, though. It was another question I followed up
Oh,
after
and
that.
then he also asked me, "Do I think anything that I saw in the Porter and Crawford fight does it change my mind or give me an opinion on how
Yeah.
the Spence and Crawford fight will go?" Those are two questions.
Nah, I've been looking at Crawford and Spence for a while, so pretty much already know that pretty much Crawford gonna knock him out. I thought Crawford would knock him out before Spence ever got into an accident. I see Spence almost like a black Eastern European fighter. He has the same style that that his coach has, that Derrick James has. It's almost like he's a clone of him. You know, so I don't think that style can beat Crawford. You know, it's just his way of going backwards is uncomfortable. He doesn't have the necessary rhythm that also Porter has. That's one reason why Porter threw him off, because Porter had rhythm, while Spence is flat-footed and trying to find his rhythm. It's hard for him to transition from offense to defense. So if you sit there and mold him with a lot of punches, Spence gonna basically shell up. You know, he doesn't punch with you, so it's more like he has a hard time to do that transition from offense to defense. It's not a smooth transition. That's why I don't think he would beat Crawford.
I agree with that.
Be nice. What's up, KP?
Yeah, that's interesting. He is with Crawford, you get a lot more tools. I'm still got Spence in that fight, but I can see how he can be beat. And when I see Crawford and I see what was happening last night, it kind of reminded me a little bit, because he did get buzzed a couple times by Sean. It kind of reminded me somewhat, not Trap House, of when Mosley got to Mayweather early, and then Mayweather adjusted. So what Bud did is he adjusted, and once he adjusted, shit was over, bro. I mean, I could see it coming. Once I seen him stand up, and he was asking him something about what was in the middle of in the corner in the ninth round, he was asking somebody in the crowd something, and then they said something to him, and then he stood up, and I said, "Oh shit, he about to go get him," and he went to get him, and that was it. And that's when he ran off them shots on him. So he got a lot of that. He got a lot of that same thing of what Ward had and what Mayweather had, where they could just sense certain shit, and when they adjust, if you can't adjust with them, you're in trouble.
I agree. And whoever he was talking to in that round, he was asking them, was he down? And whoever he was talking to was like, yeah, you might be. That's when he flipped that switch on him. But as far as Spence and Crawford, I was convinced that Crawford was going to win after the Jeff Horn fight, because that was my only issue. Could Crawford handle the size of the 147-pound division? That's the only issues I had with Crawford. As far as skill set, I always thought his skill set was superior to the rest of those dudes. But after watching how he handled Jeff Horn, I knew size wasn't an issue. And then when I was willing to bet on the fight was after Spence and Porter. Because again, Porter showed me that Spence wasn't what I thought he was. I thought Spence was really going to put it on Porter, and he didn't. He looked kind of average in that fight. And that let me know then, I say, I don't believe that Spence will have the toolbox to fuck with Crawford, because that shelling up, waiting on your opponent to get their shots off, and then you get your shots off, that's a downhill sled for Spence if he's fighting Crawford. You cannot let Crawford tee off on you and then think that you're going to come back and get yours, because it's not going to work. Because when he teeing off, you're going to let him get his off, and then when you try to tee off, he going to punch with you. So you just took punches from both sides of the table, and I just don't think that bode well. So I got Crawford winning. I think the toughest test at this point appears to be Ennis. You know what I'm saying? Just based on the eye test, if you're going skill for skill. But the most realistic fight that I see coming is Josh Taylor.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. You and Mark, my mind ain't never changed. I always said from day one, even before Bud moved up to 147, I always thought that he'd be all of them anyway. Uh, I got a video to even prove it from years ago. But my follow up question, I remember what it was now. It was, do y'all think that do y'all think that Sean Porter, do y'all think that he was gonna, was there anything that he could have did to change the outcome of that fight? Was it gonna get worse, or anything like that? Or
He was going to get stopped on his back, man.
It's gonna get worse.
yeah, I saw we all to pretty much come to agreements on that then. Yeah, because I seen the way he was getting hit with those shots flush, man, and it wasn't looking good for Showtime, man. It was looking bad for him. And I was like, damn, man. He and on that second knockdown, what people fail to realize is that he got hit with that straight right. Bud missed 3 more other punches after that, and then he fell down. So he was already hurt, wounded, ready to go.
And he actually hit him with them. He hit him with 2 of them 3 punches.
Oh,
he hit him with that straight right. He missed one, and then he caught him like towards the side, the back of the head on that last one that put him down. But it was the straight right that hurt him. And if people go back and look, when Sean Porter is on his hands and knees, he tries to get up on one knee and he stumbles. I think Kenny Porter seen that and knew that his fighter had been compromised. I think that was the best case scenario for Sean Porter. And for the fans, I understand as a fan, we greedy. We want to see it. I would have loved to see, the final outcome without a stoppage. But I believe that was best for Sean Porter because I don't believe he had a win anywhere in that scenario. I think he had maxed out his potential. I think he had maxed out his physicality. And I think he was tired. I think he was tired of thinking about how he was going to survive in that ring. I think it was pretty much over with.
Yeah, and I could tell like when the times where he was trying to get off his little shit and he was trying to do his little Cleveland shuffle and all that shit around the ring, trying to use the ring, and he see Bub was right there on his trail making him still work. See, Sean used to having that little space when he do all that, and people not gonna press Sean. And see, when you press him and make him work, why after he done got off and he done did his little thing. And when he think he gonna break by moving around and you steady in the face with putting pressure on him, Sean didn't like that. He ain't like that. That played into his fatigue a little bit as well. Cause Sean used to getting off when he doing all that, he get off, he moving around and doing all that. Then people don't normally press Sean. Bud was right there in his face, following him around the whole time. Just that pressure alone, right there, can mentally drain you. It could wear your fatigue down, But yeah, man. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this show up, fellas, man. It was a nice episode 64 of the Jab Session in this trap house, man. And I sure appreciate everybody coming in, showing love and support. Everybody that came through the channel, spoke their piece, and was being heard. Real quick before we shut it down, one by one, everybody do you like outro? Let everybody know how you could be seen, heard, whatever the case may be, how people can reach you and follow you. Go ahead, D Nice. I'm gonna start with you first, my man.
Man, I ain't no internet personality, man. I just like talking boxing, man. I ain't got no channel or nothing. So salute. Anytime y'all boys jump on, support the channel, man. Show love, show like, get y'all name out there, man. And boxing is my game, man. That's what I do. I'm a boxing fan, not a boxer fan. So salute.
That's what's up, man. I sure appreciate you coming through, man. Anybody want to show love, support the channel, man? The link in the description box for the Cash App. Cash out JB7474. Show love if you're not. Oh, well, it's cool. I still love y'all anyway. But yeah, man, D Nice. I sure appreciate you coming through there, big dog. And
No doubt, man. Bring back the trap house song too, man.
most definitely, man. I do that.
No doubt.
All right, brother. All right, Harlem Brother Mark, man, go ahead and let them know how they can reach you, follow you, however the case may be.
Well, they can reach me through this channel right here with you, brethren. You know,
Gotcha.
so and I do news on basically Facebook on boxing, on different boxing groups and stuff like that with different coaches and stuff. So you can catch me sometimes in different groups. You know,
Gotcha.
like there's a group called Uppercuts. Sometimes I do news on that station right there.
Okay, so Facebook boxing groups, you can find Harlem Brother Mark on there. And that's his name on Facebook, boxing groups, if you want to find him. So be sure to go look him up. But, you know, last but not least, you know where to find me at. It's your boy, man. I'm finna close the show. Till next time, man, I much love to everybody. I sure appreciate everybody stopping through Long in the Ear. And, man, I'll be back. And y'all stay tuned and be on the lookout for some more of this content that I will provide to y'all. So I appreciate everybody. Much love. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.
Peace.